Today's episode is brought to you by the best store in the universe. Thousands of shirts, but not really. Shop now and support the show at MaddoxRules.com. Welcome to the best debate in the universe. Every debate in the universe, from looking like Zangief to bad ground beef. With over 3.5 million downloads, I'm your host, Maddox. With me is the first tangent officer, Ron Babcock.
Hey.
And as always, the journalist in moderation, Taylor Nikolai.
N-I-K-O-L.
No, fuck off. Welcome back to the show. Guys, we have an amazing show today, and I should mention that the intro to the show and the following 7 minutes are going to sound a little bit different because some fuckface forgot to hit record.
Oh, which fuckface?
Which
fuckface?
You might be hearing him talk right now, right this second.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was not me.
No, it was me. I'm the fuckface who forgot to fucking record. So anyway, the audio from the next 7 minutes are going to sound a little bit off, but the rest of the podcast will sound phenomenal, as it always does.
Everything always sounds amazing.
Well, anyway, speaking of, today we're going to be debating, is soccer a dumb, shitty pastime for idiots?
And I like that it's not a loaded question.
Yeah, you know, it's just a very fair, we like to have a balanced debate on this show. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of show we do here. But first, I want to introduce our guest this week. He's a very talented director, musician, and actor. Please welcome Jarrell Pyro Johnson. Jarrell, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah. Or Pyro, P-Y-R-O for short, right?
Yes.
So
Pyro for short.
You appeared in Rideshare. You had a pretty prominent role in Rideshare.
Oh, yes, very prominent.
Yeah.
Very.
Along with our old moderator, Rucka Ali.
Oh, yeah.
And yours truly. I finally saw my cameo in Rideshare.
How is it?
It was a blip. So I didn't make it in the screening that we went to.
Okay.
But Tremaine Hayho, a guest of the show, he's been on a couple times. He threw me in at very last minute.
Wow.
You know, in the gas station, they have those little screens that show. I was on some really Entertainment Tonight type thing, just like for a blip.
He was hardly in the film.
Okay.
You know what, Taylor?
But you were there.
Pipe down over there, Taylor. Taylor shit already.
Here's a cup of coffee before the podcast, coming in hot.
Yeah.
If you can hold your breath for as long as someone's in a film, you're like hardly in the film.
Okay. You know what, Taylor?
That's my rule of thumb now.
Yeah, well, here's my rule.
Oh, shit!
Right out the gates.
Right out the gates.
That's the earliest we've had a douchebag of the week in this, I think, in the history of the show.
Wow.
Amazing. 109 episodes.
My honest-to-life, goal in Hollywood is to be a dead guy, in a movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Or I have a death reel that I made of all the stuff. I've been a character who's been dead in a lot of stuff, and I really want to be a dead guy in a Marvel movie or something. Or someone. I don't even have to be a death scene. I could just be
Yeah.
I think that'd be so tight.
You could do it, Ron. I think if anyone, you could play that, because I remember, I think you.
People have said my acting, it's it's lifeless.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is it cheaper to get to pay minimum wage or whatever to someone to lay on the ground, or get a dummy?
I don't know.
Rent a dummy.
Well, I think a live person brings a certain lifeless performance that a dummy
just couldn't do. You're right.
Yeah, you know, especially you have to move a dummy, but I can move myself. So I mean, that's also an added bonus of saving time.
I love watching Walking Dead or something. Not the show, but just for
when the zombies go out of character.
No. When I see people actors laying and you can see them breathing.
Oh yeah,
and they're supposed to be dead.
Yeah,
I always pay attention to that shit. I'm come on, just hold your breath for a shot.
But they've also been on that set for 8 hours, and they're just fuck it. It doesn't matter.
They shoot in Atlanta, so it's got to be hot.
I don't know how hard it is just to lay there. Is that really hard?
Well, as a death actor, I can tell you that, it is. It's pretty hard because sometimes you fall asleep, and then you can't hear the direction. So it makes it difficult.
That does.
So, Pyro, you were in, as we mentioned, Rideshare, and also another movie that's coming out, I believe. It's not out yet, right? Glassjaw?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that, or is it still hush-hush?
It's not as hush-hush as Rideshare was.
Okay.
But I could say it's pretty much an underdog story about a boxer who fights the odds.
Okay. Are you the lead? Or
I am not the lead.
Okay.
I have a pretty strong role.
Are you on a screen in a gas station for a hot second?
Yes.
Can I hold my breath long enough to see you?
Actually, you know what's funny about that? I think you actually can hold your breath a tad bit long. By a second.
So I would need to have a second breath.
Yes.
That's it. It's
all right.
Okay. The clapping sound. The clapping sound.
You know what, Taylor? Why don't you hold your breath for the rest of this episode, Taylor? So Pyro, also you make some music. You have a YouTube channel that's blowing up, that's up and coming. You've been doing that for a while.
I've heard of
Instagram
YouTube.
account. Yeah, Pyro to Sick, right? It's at Pyro to Sick.
Yes, PYRO, the number 2, SICK.
SICK, and a handsome beard, I gotta say.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
shampoo it 3 times a day. I try.
Oh, do you really?
I really do.
Yeah, it looks like a cloud.
Thank you. Yes. Hopefully it doesn't rain.
That's so. I talked a couple episodes ago. So we have this new sponsor on the podcast called Nutrafol, and I started taking it, and it's kind of an experiment. If my hair grows in, I am going to shave it down so I get a mohawk and look like Zangief.
Oh.
That's my whole goal for my aesthetic. It's very informed by Street Fighter 2.
Just going around the table,
Yeah.
like we actually look like a progression of a beard. Like
Oh, that's funny. That's
Taylor's
good.
like day 1. Maddox is like day looks like a sick cat, and then I'm like day probably like day 10, and then you're like day like deserted island.
Yeah, we skip step 2 to get here. That's funny, though.
Very
That's
good.
pretty good.
Well, guys, before we get to the debate, I'm going to mention that later on in the show, we have some quick news headlines with our journalist in moderation. We've got some voicemail. The voicemail number is on the website, madcastmedia.com. That's also where you go to vote on these topics, and we'll have the results of this week's debate next week. And also, guys, we've been doing this every Saturday. We've been doing a live broadcast of the show. So if you guys are tuning in live, we'll be reading some of your comments in the chat room, any kind of super chats. Those are some fan funds that help support the show. We really appreciate those, but we should move on to the debate this week.
Someone in the chat said that Taylor is actually just CGI.
Hey, you sound a lot better all of a sudden.
Yeah, you
Oh,
do.
yeah? Do I sound better?
Weird.
I wonder
Thank you,
why.
Ron. Yeah.
That's strange.
Has it been 7 minutes since? Oh, man, what a shit show. All right, guys. That's what the live viewers tune in for.
You're like
Kind
the
of-
guy who goes to like the live festival and you sure you got the tickets? I got the tickets. And then you show up and you're like, "Oh no, I left them on the toilet."
I was traveling to China once, and my mom was getting me right
And
to the
you
airport.
forgot not to go.
Almost. It was pretty bad. My mom calls me and she goes, "Hey, you gonna be okay for tomorrow? Are you packed?" I'm like, "No, not yet." She goes, "You're leaving in the morning." I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry. I'll stay up all night packing." I wake up to angry knocks at the door. It's like 7 a.m. I got to be at the airport at 8. I look over. My suitcase is completely empty. So she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "I fell asleep. I was supposed to be packing." So I went into my room and I just like grabbed a pile of dirty laundry from my hamper and just dumped it in my suitcase and just left to China. I was like, "Fuck it. I'll just wash the clothes there and I'll have something."
Did you wash the clothes there?
I washed. Yeah, I did wash some.
Is that why all your
Taylor.
pictures were you just wearing like oven mitts? You know, like, I backed the wrong shit.
Oh, interesting story. So my logo, this face that I have on my logo, that picture of me that I used for that logo was from China. For when I was in China, in the Forbidden City of all places. That's a picture. I may post the original picture that I used for the source for that at some point.
So you went to China with your mom?
No.
Wait.
She took me to the airport.
Oh.
Yeah, went by myself.
Oh.
Like
I was going to
fucking-
say, that what a Maddox adventure.
It is
like,
a Maddox
that would have
adventure.
been.
That's what I do. I travel alone as a Maddox adventure. Anyway, so
So you travel with your mom? I'm confused.
What am I, the first tangent officer here? We should get to the debate. I want to hear everyone's buzzer before we do. Pyro, let's hear yours. Wrong. Ron? And here's mine. If you hear this buzzer from anyone during the debate, that means someone is disagreeing with someone else or we're just chiming in with an interjection. But let's talk about the debate this week. Is soccer a dumb, shitty pastime for idiots? Pyro, what do you think? Yes or no? As our guest this week, I'll give you first stab at the debate.
I say yes.
Yes, correct. Wow, Pyro, sensible man. Ron?
I say no.
So why isn't soccer a dumb, stupid pastime?
Okay, first of all,
Yes.
just starting from that position, I think we all know where I am.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to know why you think it's a dumb, shitty pastime for idiots.
Okay, the first thing, and this is, like, hear me out here, it's hella boring.
That is a great way to say it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I guess for someone who doesn't have like an attention span or somebody who's weak-minded, I could see it as for being super boring.
Oh, weak-minded and low attention span. What brain power do you need to watch some
Right.
guys like kick a ball around? I will say it's better than American football, right? I like it a little bit better.
I enjoy
than
it more than
better than
I
golf.
enjoy it more than any other sport. And guess what? So does everyone else on the planet.
that. Yeah. Correction. So does everyone on the planet who's spent a week or two in London. Because they
First
come
of all,
back.
It was a few more than a week or two. Okay.
So that's usually what it is. Pyro, has that been your experience? Like people go to London for like a week or two and they come home and they're like huge soccer fans?
Oh, yes, definitely.
What about all the people just over in London and the rest of the world who enjoy this game? Like, we're the outliers. We're the only ones who are like, soccer's dumb. It's like, no, dipshits. We're just not good at it. That's the only reason we don't like it. It's because we, as a country, kind of suck at it.
Well,
David Beckham is awesome. Well, he was awesome.
You're just throwing the one guy you know. Name literally two other players.
David.
There you go. He's got you. There are 3 Davids that play soccer.
Yes, it is. In all countries.
Damn, Pyro.
In every country, there's about 4 Davids that play soccer.
So Ron and I just went to an arcade last week, and we were playing one of those like Neo Geo 4-in-1 games, right?
Well, we wanted to play one game.
Yeah,
What
Metal
was it?
Slug X.
Yeah, but like it was
great
one of
game.
those things that had like the games all built into it.
Right.
So we ended up playing a soccer game.
Yeah.
And I quote, and you were bummed. You're like, God damn it, we're playing soccer. And I was excited. And then we played it, and you were like, this is actually pretty fun.
Yeah, I was like secretly enjoying myself, but I was like pretending to be angry because I just wanted to get back to Metal Slug.
Okay. My buddy Rob from high school,
Yeah.
I once convinced him, I don't even know how I did this, but I convinced him to go to an LA Galaxy game. I think I had an extra ticket, and he's one of those guys who just hates soccer. He thinks it's boring, it's not fun. He didn't even want to go. We went to a game, and he was like, I'm the person who hates this sport like the most, and he had a fantastic fucking time. Because to watch a game, it's a fun environment. You can't deny that it's fun because people are passionate, everybody's yelling, everybody's jumping, and usually soccer is not as popular as like an NFL game, so the stadiums are smaller.
Right.
So no matter where you sit,
It's going to be.
you get a good view of the pitch, and everybody's into the fucking game.
Oh god,
So,
you
like,
call
one-
it
Go to a
pitch.
baseball game, it's a fucking
You did say
carnival.
the pitch.
If you go to a baseball game, it's a fucking carnival that just happens to have baseball.
You know what
baseball is not the most interesting thing going on at a baseball game. That's why they serve.
I agree.
That's why they serve nachos that you can in a hat that you can wear after. Okay, like they're trying to find shit. They have gambling at baseball. They have a 50-50 raffle at Dodger games.
Yeah, if you go to Minnesota Twins games, well, I'm from Minnesota. Do you guys know? And you can go through the hallway, and there's like video games in the hallways.
There's other shit there
For
because
when
they
kids
know.
get
Well, we know
bored.
the game isn't interesting enough, so let's have some miscellaneous gambling to
Let's
keep
have
it
something else.
interesting.
Yeah. Let's have free food.
Even
for
like
everyone.
if your sport has a T-shirt cannon, you are not an interesting sport. You go to a soccer game, all you do is you watch the fucking game, then you go out afterwards and you get trashed.
All right, you know what? I will call foul on that one, Ron. Red card for you, my friend, because the more cannons your sport has, I would
better.
say arguably the better.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
that's
starting
true.
with
I
one.
agree.
If you had like 10, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm into it.
I'm not saying if
100?
we have a sport of just T-shirt cannons.
Yes.
that is a game I'm going to watch.
Now we're talking.
Okay.
I'm watching
There
the game
we
with
go.
cash cannons. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Oh my gosh, cash cannons. Oh hell yeah, dude! So I went to VidCon and they had one of those.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they
That's
had-
exactly where I was going.
They had like one of those cash tornado things where you
Yeah.
go in
Oh,
and
like
you're
the box?
Yeah, the box,
you
right?
like grab them.
So I go in and it was like a sponsor. They were like, go in there and you can catch as much as you want. Catch as much. And I'm looking in there. I'm like, there's 20s and 5s and 10s, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm gonna walk away like a couple hundos richer here. And first of all, you have to like fucking download this app and then sign the form and this fucking thing. And so I downloaded the app and they're like, you got the wrong app. I'm like, well, which one am I supposed to download? They go, it's not on Android yet. I'm like, oh, okay. When they're like, well, now you have to sign in with our own iPad. I'm like, you know what? I don't remember my fucking password. I'm not doing this shit. And so then I was watching people. I'm like, well, can I just go in there? I don't even want to keep the cash. I just want to try it. They're like, no. So like,
Yeah,
what
they're very
kind of-
selective. But then you know what? Even
Did you try it, Pyro?
I did try it, and I caught a couple of 20s, but they were only accounted as $1.
Yeah. And
Wait, what?
and
Wait,
you couldn't keep the
What
cash.
is this? What is
They wouldn't
Yes.
even let you keep the cash. It was you had to
Like trade in your 20 for $1?
Yes.
yeah, but then you had to get 30 bills, and then with the 30 bills you got a skateboard.
Yeah,
and it
a
wasn't
skateboard.
even a wooden. It was like a plastic
It was a
skateboard.
penny
Sounds
board.
like
Oh, cool.
fraud. Like
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah,
This
it was fraud.
This is
it was
the
very
definition
fraudulent.
of a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got baited and switched.
Yeah, can we
Clearly.
find out what app this was and not download their
Oh,
app?
I
Yeah,
uninstalled
let's
it.
show them. Let's
Yeah,
continue to do the thing we're not doing.
There were
Yeah,
lots
exactly.
of apps I didn't install, most of them. But we should get back to the debate. Someone in the chat room, Super Arrogant Bros, guys, you got to check out Super Arrogant Bros. They have a show on this network. They have a gaming show. They said baseball is fucking boring. Ron, I agree with that. I will give you that, Ron. Baseball is fucking boring. You
No,
like baseball,
I
Pyro?
love baseball. especially after the 20th inning.
No, I think Ninja Kitas has a good point. He says, once you understand some of the other nuances of the game, you get more excited about other plays, and you aren't just sitting there waiting for someone to score. And he's right, because in soccer, it's not just about the game, it's about the history of the game. And it is, people say, oh, it's such a low-scoring game. It's so boring. No, because goals actually mean something when they happen. Basketball is just constant points. Constant points.
What do they mean?
It's like a fucking, when you score a goal in soccer, like it's like the amount of feeling that you have is like the same feeling you get when your team wins a championship.
It's like a Cubs winning the World Series type of thing.
Yeah, and
it never happens.
Like, what's your favorite sport? What do you enjoy watching?
People watching. That's my favorite sport.
Pyro, we will not accept that answer.
Yes, you will.
So your favorite sport is being a peeping Tom.
Yes, the best sport alive. Yes, American.
Like, let's say, like that. People like basketball, fast paced, high scoring. The end of basketball it's the worst way to end a game in the history of sports. The slow crawl to the final whistle of the timeouts and the commercial breaks, and the fact that it takes 20 minutes to play like the last 3 minutes. Soccer, you don't know when it is. There's an injury time. So there's a sense of like, holy fucking shit, there still might be time, but you don't know. So it's this crazy, frenetic, tense race to the finish, and we don't know when it's going to end.
Okay, so I can actually respond to this. So in the same way you dislike basketball, you're saying you don't like basketball because at the end, everyone's fouling each other in order to kind of construct the time in their way. So I would say that basketball, just like soccer, are the two worst sports because they're the only sports that have, large fame or whatever, that you, as a tactic, can do a foul. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that. I don't like that you can break the rules in order to win in both of those two games.
You can also do that in a lot of other sports, like football.
Yeah, you definitely can do that in football.
You're not.
People do that all the time.
Trying to do a foul in football in order to have more time or whatever.
Are you kidding me? They hit players really hard, which is like, oh, that was an accident, but they give them concussions and shit.
But you're saying to manipulate the timing of the game.
Yeah. So basketball and soccer both have this issue where so we were just watching the World Cup and someone did what is it? The trip thing, the fouling. What is that called? The side tackling, in order to make sure that the guy didn't score the goal.
Man.
Right.
So
he did the leg hug. The leg hug.
Yes, the leg hug.
I'm saying if your sport is defined by its penalties and you can use penalties as a tactic, something's wrong with your sport.
Yeah, okay. But you're like, and I get it, like soccer flops. Yeah, guess who doesn't enjoy soccer flops? Everyone who watches the fucking game. Like, it's not a thing.
What's
you
a soccer
enjoy.
flop?
Yeah,
That's when somebody goes down on purpose to try and draw a foul. The most famous person in the world, is Neymar, because he's kind of ridiculous about it.
Is he that guy where somebody touched his hair and he fell over?
Yeah. Yeah. They're also called Italians, Argentinians, and Brazilians. Like, Italy's I'm so glad when Italy didn't make the World Cup because they're the fucking worst at it, and it drives me crazy. And it drives a lot of other people crazy. I'm not a fan of it. Most people aren't. And yeah, it's a shitty thing about the sport, but every sport has shitty things, Like, you're not, and they're trying to do their best to get rid of it. But what I like about it is that when I watch a game, there's no commercial breaks. There's some in the beginning, there's some in the halftime, there's some there. I get to watch the fucking game. Football, there's a 30-second break every single play. You're just being advertised to, that you're just a consumer. There's something very pure about soccer.
Wrong! But I will say this.
God damn it, that never gets old.
I will say this. People live for the commercials in Super Bowl.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl, but that's the only game because that's the game. That's a Super Bowl for commercials.
That's what it's supposed to be. But here's the problem. I mean, that's not a virtue of soccer. That's an inability to monetize the fucking sport, which is why it's not bigger. People don't want
It's the biggest sport in the fucking world.
But no one wants to monetize it.
It's not bigger in this country, in which it is getting bigger in this country. It's never going to be huge because again, we're not fucking good at it, and Americans don't like to play shit we're not good at. Damn it.
Sorry, I couldn't. That finger just.
3.2 billion people will be watching the World Cup final.
Billion. How many people watched the Super Bowl? 100 million.
I'm
Chump change.
still not seeing. I'm still not hearing why, Ron. Why soccer is not a dumb, shady pastime for idiots. Like why? Because here's the thing. When I think of soccer, I think of you were saying that thing like every goal really counts. It really matters. It reminds me of like my dad or like any dad where our parents' generation, they weren't getting laid a lot. They didn't have fucking Tinder. They didn't have Bumble. They didn't have all these ways to hook up with chicks. They weren't getting fucking tits on their phones all day and night, like, sexting and all that shit. So a lay for them, a score for them really meant something. That's why our fucking parents are lame and they're all still married. It's because like they they weren't getting laid a lot, and like it's that one guy who's like finally lost his virginity, and it's not an interesting story. That's
of all,
what soccer is.
Your dad wasn't getting laid a lot, but don't push that shit on my dad.
Your dad was
my dad was crushing. No, I can't even say.
No,
Well, you know why soccer's great? Because it's poor people can play it. And I'm saying that in not like any sort of like condescending way.
No, it is a very democratic sport.
Like even basketball, you kind of need like at least tar to play it. Like you can play soccer on dirt, and it's still soccer. Like
you could use like the head of a pig or something to kick around.
Okay.
All you need is just something that's maybe round. Like okay, basketball, yeah, but you need the hoop infrastructure.
Right.
Baseball, holy shit! Like
you need a diamond. You need
football, like you need like a rich dad.
Yeah.
To buy all your pads and shit like that. Hockey? Holy, you need water to freeze.
Yeah.
Like it is the one sport out there that literally anybody
what
can
about
play.
rugby then?
Rugby? Man, I mean, that's cool.
Here's
Rugby, but to me, rugby's that sport where I watch rugby. I've watched rugby with friends, and I still don't like get it.
Still don't get it. Rugby's
like,
interesting.
There's like a scrum, and it's definitely tougher than soccer. I mean, it's like especially Australian rules rugby, which is kind of like you have to run and kick the ball, I think, at the same time. It's fucking insane, man.
I mean, like, we're getting to a point, though, where all these sports are going to be extinct someday, and the only things left are going to be esports and pickleball.
I was waiting for your pickleball bullshit. We got some voicemails. Yeah, pickleball is basically, it sounds like tennis with the wiffle ball.
It's like big ping pong.
It's like sports for virgins. Pickleball.
Say no more. I got it.
Yes, please, say no more.
Yeah, I pickleball pretty hard.
Guys, we got some real quick. We got some super chats from Tito in the chat room for $2. Says fuck football, and he spelled it like the the European way, FUTBOL.
Soccer. We got it.
Yeah, like soccer. Yeah, exactly.
It does get confusing though.
It does.
And Pavic Bavin says the only sport that matters is debating Maddox, an intellectual heavyweight. That's correct. Keep kissing that ass. I love it. For $5, thank you, Pavic Bavin. So, anyway, back to soccer, though. Look, I went to Syria when I was a kid, and I gotta be honest, I got soccer fever, just like everyone does when they go to Europe, because that's the only fucking thing, and everyone is so invested in it, so it's hard not to get invested in this thing. I go to a Mexican restaurant, and they always have soccer on, and every cook, every chef, every busboy is watching it fervently, and it's contagious, that kind of excitement. I mean, the sport is essentially like, hey, bet you can't kick that ball past me, and that other guy's like, bet I can. That's the entire...
Simple.
Yeah, very simple.
It's an easy sport to learn.
Yeah.
Rugby? That's going to take you at least a whole afternoon. Soccer? Just kick the ball into the net.
I actually do enjoy like street soccer. That's kind of interesting.
Street soccer?
Yeah, the poor way to play.
I only see those in like Pepsi ads.
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah.
Like,
or FIFA games.
Ads for like people who drink like soda. They're all like just playing like,
yeah.
And I know like when I'm playing sports, I always love to cool down with a nice Coke. Some carbonated sugary beverage.
Well, I think the way it works is whoever's like, because they play the ball is the soccer is the soda can.
Yeah.
So as soon as they hit in the goal, you get to drink that. Whoever wins, so it's like you don't dehydrate while you're playing the street soccer.
Do you
game,
ever those like
which is awesome
in like those like Coke ads too? Like everyone's always giving each other a look.
Yeah.
Like they kick the ball and then they look at a girl and they're like, huh? And she's like, and then they all drink out of soda. I'm like, I've never drank a soda.
Can you do
like
that voice again? What do they be like?
What's that?
What's that voice?
I found out cola has taste blindness. I think that's what it's called. So you can't physically, your body can't get sick of cola. Because your mind can't remember what it tastes like.
That's bullshit, because I have the flavor in my mind right now. I know what it tastes like.
You can't get sick of it. It is the issue.
Really?
I get sick of it all the fucking time. I can't even finish a can of Coke sometimes. I'm fucking tired of it. 2 sips in. I'm like, I get it. It's like French fries.
Whenever we go out for wings, I just see you with like a bucket of soda in front of you and just pouring it back, like holding it with 2 hands. So maybe that's true, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, hit that wrong button for me, Pyro. Thank you. Thank you. We got in the chat room for $5. Catherine says, my pot dealer had me over to watch Mexico play the World Cup 10 years ago. Got so stoned it was hours before I realized the commentary was in Spanish.
Wow.
And then Q the Critic for $2 is supporting my young boy Pyro. You know Q?
I do know.
Buddy of yours?
What's up, Q? How are you?
That's cool. Very cool. Thank you so much. So here's the thing. I get that. Sometimes if you're stoned enough. I remember one time I watched.
You're stoned enough. Everything's cool when you're stoned. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, soccer is one of those things where you can have on and it's in the background. It is fun to hear those Latin American announcers yell goal forever. And I remember the first time that happened, it was in the 90s. Because that became a soundbite. It became like, let's get ready to rumble. You heard it everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
You know that guy's like a billionaire from like licensing that phrase out?
Let's get ready to rumble?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
He like invented it, trademarked it, and all of a sudden it was like on every shirt, every song. Like, remember like jock jams? Where like, it was like a mix of songs. Like that, like you kids listening, you don't know. Like, there was a time you couldn't just listen to any song you wanted to listen to. So you would have to buy these crappy CDs that would have 20 songs on them that you would like 3 of them, and then like there were like all those other songs.
Well, whenever I put a load of laundry into my dryer, I always like to go, let's get ready to tumble. And I'm basically a dad joke.
You're a breathing dad joke.
Oh, I'm going to be such a good dad when I have kids.
When you want to have kids?
When? I don't know, man. It fucking scares me, to be honest.
Guys, vote on the website, madcastmedia.com.
Shut the fuck up, Maddox. I've been getting this shit from all sides. When are you going to have kids? I don't know.
How many kids do you want?
Maybe like, I don't know. I feel like 1 is too little, but 4 is way too much.
Yes.
And 3 just seems like probably 2, but then I say 2 and there's going to be a surprise. And then we're going to be like, he was our happy accident.
So like when you think about like how many kids you don't want to have, are you thinking like the cost or just like the energy that it would take to like do all these things?
I think the energy and also like, I mean, I'm the youngest of 5 and I mean, I turned out okay, but I could definitely tell you my parents are like, it's going to be okay. Jesus Christ, guys. God
Sorry, it's that finger.
Get a little bit vulnerable.
It's that finger again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Pyro with that,
I like soccer.
With that buzzer shade.
That finger.
Yeah.
No, the thing about kids is it's the aftermath that I'm afraid of, not the beginning. The whole I need you to support me doing weird things in life.
Well, the thing I think about is like, what if you have 5 kids and they all have soccer games in different cities?
God.
Like things
Dude,
like
that's
that.
my sister.
I'll never
she is just like a taxi cab for soccer. Like I mean, my girlfriend once we were camping and there were these we were camping on the Channel Islands and she saw these like little boys walk by and in their hands they had like a bug net and like a little like thing for bugs, like, and there was like a mom leading all of them. They're all in their Cub Scout uniforms, and she just turns to me and was like, "Man, I hope I have nerds one day," because they were all like paying attention and they were all like quiet and they were like wanted to learn about science. And then there was these other kids who the Channel Islands has a lot of foxes, and they had like sharpened sticks and were trying to stab the foxes. Yeah. And those are the kids who were into sports.
Yeah, the murderers.
The ones who want to murder animals.
I talked to a friend the other day. I went to a 4th of July party, and she was saying she teaches kids in China and remotely over webcam. And she said that one of the girls
teaching them
English.
Oh.
Yeah, you can do that, I guess, remotely. So one of the kids that she was teaching was really smiley. And she goes, "What are you smiling about?" She goes, "I'm just happy to see you." Like, just, wow. Which is like, I can't even imagine pureness and sweetness that sincere. Because, like, just me, I'm just like crusty and just bitter at everything. And I'm cynical.
What is it like? Do you get paid well to teach English to Chinese kids
I've heard
on
you
the
get paid
internet?
really well.
That sounds like an awesome extra money thing.
I think they also pay for your room and board and everything. Like you're.
Oh yeah, they hook you
good.
Up.
Yeah.
Wait,
and you don't even have to
in
speak
America?
Chinese.
No, in China.
Well, yeah, I know that, but we're talking
she
about
lives in China, but she also remote teaches in China. She just likes being closer because the internet connection is better.
Oh man, if you could farm that out so you have like the same stream going to like 10 different classrooms and then like pretend like you're answering all their questions.
I see what you're doing under that desk there, Jimmy.
Yeah.
The point is that soccer is the one sport that brings people together like no other sport on a global level.
Ron, when was
soccer is you can get laid from hot Russian women.
Yeah.
Ron, what year was the last time you played soccer?
Like, you mean like competitively?
No, like for fun.
Like this year?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, we go to the park and we kick a ball around and we realize how out of shape we are.
Did you
Also, like an
ask
adult
your
league.
friends, do you want to go to the park and play soccer?
No, my girlfriend and I kick a ball because we live an active lifestyle.
No, you didn't.
Jesus Christ, not everything's about goddamn Pokemon Go.
It's everything
like
about
that's the most
Pokemon Go
popular sport.
and pickleball. That's the only thing I care about. Everything else is fake.
Oh gosh, I think between like the four
Two
of us,
things, lady. I poke hard and I pickle harder.
oh man, that's the most worked up. So two fouls I got to call. First of all, Ron, you got us back on track. You are a tangent officer, so that is.
Even I was like, guys, we are way
And second,
off the path.
Taylor, that is the most pointed I've heard you on this entire show. Really pissed off that you don't believe, you're incredulous that Ron played soccer. I look at Ron, I'm like, yeah, there's a guy who probably plays soccer once a
still
year.
believe you're lying. I really don't think that anybody's like, hey, you guys want to go to the park and play soccer? That is not a thing that happens in real life.
I don't
If
think so
anything, it
either.
would be like you make a Facebook event and it's like, hey, does anybody want to do this sometime? And then there's like a date that constantly changes and then it never actually happens. And it's all just trying to gauge any of your friends who you could maybe
still
play soccer with.
Even if I didn't play, and I honestly, I haven't played a lot. I've only played like once. And then I realized, yeah, I need to start running more because I'm that out of shape. But like, you can still enjoy something. Just because I don't paint doesn't mean I don't like looking at paintings.
Yeah, correct. By the way, shithead, that's the entire premise of Twitch is people watching other people play things. They don't necessarily have to play the game or own the system or watch, have the entire fucking VR setup if you want to watch someone play in VR.
So speaking of soccer, have you guys seen like the new thing is like Keemstar and all these big YouTubers are doing soccer games in Europe together?
What?
Yeah, no, I'm not joking.
Oh, wow. Sounds like a real community-driven affair. That's cool.
Sounds annoying.
Like
Yeah,
a
sounds annoying. That's
bunch
right.
of big YouTubers
Pyro called
are
it.
starting
All
to play
right, Pyro
soccer
can play
games, and they're
goal
like
line.
live streaming it. It's an interesting thing, like the evolution of like YouTube stars or whatever. That they're like organizing these like actual athletic things.
It's not evolution, it's regression. What are you going to say, Ron? You look like you're
Okay.
fired up.
All right, here's the thing. Okay, soccer, as we've already established, has a low barrier for entry.
Yes.
So anybody can play it. So it is it is a very democratic game that is welcome to everybody on the globe. Because of that, it's become a worldwide phenomenon. Billions of people are going to watch it. It's very
Billions of
popular.
peaches, you were about
Yeah,
to say.
no, peaches too. Here's the thing. Fuck, no, it's gone.
We almost had a goal.
God damn it.
This conversation is like a microcosm of soccer.
Yes, it is.
God damn it.
I think you need a
I
penalty
had a
kick.
point.
Let me ask you this, Ron. Here's what I think most Americans, including myself, don't understand about soccer. Why does the sport sometimes end in a tie with no winners? How does that work?
Oh,
What
yeah.
does that,
Oh,
what does that
yeah,
mean?
because Americans are like, they lose their fucking mind
Yeah.
unless there's a clear-cut winner.
Yeah, no
Right.
Because
tie.
life is always like that.
Well,
there's never a
okay.
stalemate in life.
But are people tuning into soccer because they want to see like a simulation of life, or because they want to be entertained and like fucking root for their jerk off team? Is
I
that
don't know. Do you want to like have an example of what real life is, or do you want to like have a little escapism where you get to like?
escapism? That's
Yeah.
what I want. Yeah.
Okay,
So that's what I'm saying. Soccer is not escapism.
No, it is not escapism at all.
Escapism. It's a great
It
word.
is soccer is about, if you are a fan of the game of soccer, you are going to experience more heartache and pain than joy. Your team is going to lose so many times until that one year where they have a really good fucking run, and it's finally going to be the year, and then they lose that. Okay?
It sounds like the
Capitals.
Chicago Cubs.
Yeah,
It's-
like the Cubs.
The Cubs just won the World Series, though.
Yeah,
like,
but
so
it's
it does
not-
happen.
Yeah.
But how long was that run?
It was over 100 years.
Yeah, it's not a fun game.
Can we just like talk about sports in general for a second?
Yes,
Because like
let's
all
get
these,
off of soccer, please.
all these fucking diehards, right?
Yeah.
Who are like, oh man, I'm a fucking Lions fan for life. I'm a Cubs fan for life. Your fucking team sucks. If it hasn't won in 100 years, that's a century of losing and sucking. Why are you loyal to being a failure?
Yeah, why don't you just abandon your team
Yes.
for the current winners?
Well, I
Yeah,
think
every
right?
time.
Is that what
Every
you're saying?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Every time.
nothing is sacred in your life.
there's a lot to be said about like if
Fucking Yankee
a team,
fan over here.
If a team is from your city, I think that it's like I come from that mindset of I'm from Minnesota, and the idea of me ever rooting for a team that's not from Minnesota feels sacrilegious in
I
some
agree.
way.
I agree.
Oh,
Like
garbage.
maybe it's a
He's
I agree with
bullshit.
that.
Okay, Pyro, what do you want to
I
say
mean,
about that?
I love all California teams just because I'm from California.
You're from Compton, right? I
Yes.
just found out. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't have a team yet.
Okay. No Compton.
Yeah, but no, I love every California team. Like Golden State Warriors, I don't like them, but they're from California, so I rooted for them.
Garbage. Listen, I'll tell you what. Like when I'm from Utah, all right, we didn't have any fucking teams except for the Utah Jazz, which is like what Utah's known for is their rich jazz culture. So the team was like I think imported from New Orleans. The players are from all over the fucking place: New York, Chicago,
Right.
L.A. None of them are Utah natives. They can't stand Utah. You can tell they like hold their breath before while they're walking to and from the locker room. They can't stand it. They have houses elsewhere. They're just imported into this fucking state because it's a franchise and they're just trying to make money. That team loyalty, like that state loyalty, is like, well, it's my team. I got to. No, that's bullshit.
Well, no, that's because Utah sucks.
Utah.
Other states are way better.
Right,
But
Utah
he's
does
right.
suck.
The idea that like all these sports teams have people who don't actually, live there.
Well, if you think about it, think about the loyalty people have to their sports team, and essentially, it's the same ideology that goes into like a microcosm of nationalism. It's like my country,
it's
right
very-
or wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so essentially, you're all a bunch of little like nationalists.
But
who
we
are-
have that in all
In our
every
own state.
aspect
your
of
own
our
state,
life.
yeah.
We do that with our fucking TVs. Like, I only buy Samsung TVs. Those are the best. Like, we're tribalist
That's
about
qual-
every single
No,
facet.
but
No,
that's
TVs
different.
are all the
That's
fucking
quality.
same.
No, they're not.
Don't bring
Well,
Samsung
okay,
into
so
this.
the
Let's keep
best-
Samsung out of this.
The
Samsung
best-
is awesome.
The best argument to that is what the Green Bay Packers have. And as a Vikings fan, I have to technically hate them, but their structure is amazing because they're a public team. So the town actually owns the team. And I think that if more sports teams did that, it would just be an amazing way to like
Give people actual ownership.
well, more than that, just like get them involved.
Okay,
Like,
that's actually a good point. I will give you that, Taylor.
I can't give points, but I will also give you a point.
Yeah, you can give a ding. You got ding. There you go. You got
Maddox, do you
both
watch
dings.
any sports?
I watch bowling, and sometimes if I'm in the UK,
Jesus,
Holy
you
cow.
watch bowling?
Well,
We're
bowling-
talking about boring games?
Now that's boring.
bowling is fantastic.
I love being a part of it, but I hate watching it.
It's fun because they throw really good curveballs and they get the strikes.
Yeah, you
So
know what I
I'm
like
not-
about bowling is it's so different.
Can we go bowling?
Like
could be
there's so
old
many
as hell in
different
bowling.
kind of ways you can bowl a ball down a lane.
Bowling is
And-
like the Walmart of sports.
You know what the best sport is? Though, no joke though. When I'm in the UK, it's the only place I can see it because ESPN broadcasts it there.
Snooker?
Darts.
Oh, darts is
Darts is phenomenal to watch because there is so much sass, so much attitude. Those fucking and everyone is drunk, piss drunk in those fucking.
they call it
dart
air
alleys.
curling.
Oh,
What would be a
Darts.
foul in darts?
well.
You don't want to know, man.
Well, so the dart players, the really good ones, are so fucking arrogant and so full of themselves, and they take themselves so seriously. That's a sport in and of itself, let alone their actual skill and expertise in getting. They're not always going for the bullseye. If you know how darts are played, you don't want to go for a bullseye every single time. You want to go for the what makes most sense for the points that you're going for, and it's just an amazing sport to watch.
What a
Dart-
dumb thing to have expertise in.
Okay, says the pickleball player. We got some comments in the chat room, some super chats for $2. Q the Critic says, "So do you guys do podcasting about soccer, eh?" Yeah, well, not always. This is the first time we've done a sporting related one. And Q the Critic also says it's always barbecue with these guys. Did we talk about barbecue? Did we talk? I don't know.
I don't know. We should be talking about barbecue, though.
Nerdy content for $2 says, "Beam me up, Scotty. Old man, I want barbecue also." I have no idea what this barbecue tangent is about. And Q the Critic for another $2 says, "Maddox, you crazy guy."
Man, he got you.
Yeah.
Crazy
Exactly what
guy,
you are.
Crazy guy. I do like
Crazy
barbecue
guy.
though.
You are
Yeah.
crazy.
I think we should I think it would be a really cool idea if we went bowling and then streamed it and people could pay to watch us bowl.
I actually was the captain of
anyone
my
would watch
high
that.
school bowling team.
What's that?
I was the captain of my high school bowling team. Now, it was an intramural league.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody got to, it was the most popular activity at my school because it was fun as fuck.
Yeah, bowling is fun.
Yeah, you get
And-
a lot of ladies with bowling.
Dude, it was a good time. It was
Yeah.
a really good time. We played the staff team, and I was told that I would not win the Christian of the Month award because I talk so much trash.
Huh? Worth it. Small price to pay.
Yeah,
Wait, who won Christian of the Month?
Christian
usually?
of the-
Was it like
his name
one
is-
guy who always won?
Yeah, his name is Jesus.
Yeah.
Fucking guy.
Jesus
is
always
Was
went.
Jesus technically a Christian?
He was.
No,
he,
he
was.
was
Jewish.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, is he Christian number one? Who was Christian number one?
I mean, I guess he's
It'd be
kind of like
Peter.
patient
Peter.
zero.
Yeah,
Peter.
But like
Yeah.
yeah, because he's
Look at us
Jewish.
Christian nerds.
Let's wrap up this debate about soccer now, guys. I want to see how the voting pans out. Go to madcastmedia.com.
I know the voting's going to pan out. It's going to be like 90%. Like, yeah, we hate soccer.
No, it's the world's most popular sport.
Yeah,
apparently.
well, guess what? The only people who don't watch it live here, and we have the audacity to be like, "Oh, the world champion of baseball," but we don't play any teams from, the Cubs will never play anybody from Japan, from Dominican Republic, but we have the balls to say we're the world champions.
Well, it's because all the best players in all the world come here.
Come to here,
like
yeah.
if you're good enough in Japan, you come to America.
Fucking have another game. Have one more game.
Agreed.
Where you play the people in Japan. We'll find out if you're the best in the world.
Oh man, but baseball is so fucking boring. You like baseball,
No,
Pyro?
I can't stand baseball.
Baseball's so damn boring.
Baseball's fun.
I like the
it's like a
whole
picnic.
unlimited, eating food section.
It's the only game where you could go with a bunch of friends, and at the end of it, someone will still go, "Wait, who won?" They will pay so little attention to the game.
Well, it is like called a picnic sport in that way. Like going is not supposed to be about. Like, here's the thing. You know what I love about baseball is the same thing a lot of people like. One of the reasons Moneyball is one of my favorite films is that baseball isn't about baseball. And that's something that people don't think about very often. Baseball is about the decisions you make before the baseball game. It's about analyzing statistics and understanding what you have to do, the moves you have to do before the game starts. Baseball itself is actually quite boring. And I would say that as a baseball fan. The thing that's interesting to me is how the general manager will stack up the team in order to actually play the game. Everything in baseball is statistics. I don't know if you guys have seen Moneyball, but it's an amazing, amazing film about baseball showing no baseball.
Y'all
Cool.
like math?
Yeah, I like math.
Baseball.
I'm into math, and that's why I will say this: of all the big sports, in America, I like the last, I'd say, like 10 minutes of almost every basketball game if it's close.
Yeah.
Because then you can actually sense the drama is palpable. You know that thing that soccer players get like once every 2 hours when someone almost scores? That happens like so many times for the last 10 minutes because everyone's like watching with bated breath, especially if it's like a playoff game. I will watch that and I get it. I get the excitement of
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
And it's like you're real tense, and then you cut to a commercial for like a minute and a half, and then you go and you get to watch another 30 seconds and get to cut to another commercial. It's so fucking fun.
It's worth it if Kobe Bryant is.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys, to conclude this debate, is soccer a dumb, shitty pastime for idiots? Don't forget to vote on madcastmedia.com. I'm really curious to see what
people are going to hate on it. They all do.
I don't think so. It's a very neutral sounding.
I will say this though, even if you don't like soccer,
Yeah.
I would recommend that if you're traveling, go to a soccer game. Because it'll just be fucking. I guarantee you will have a fun time, and it's like one of those cool little cultural things to do. It's just I always actually like going to see, no matter what sport. I always like, even if you're not into sports, because it's fun to be around passion.
Yeah, when you're around a whole bunch of people who are excited about something, that's it's a little bit contagious.
Oh, I wanted to say, you know what is the worst sport to watch is hockey, because no one knows what's happening in hockey at any point in time.
Fights, Taylor. The fights are amazing.
Yeah, I love hockey.
So you
Fights
don't
are-
like hockey, you like the fights. Just watch a fight then.
Because
it's not the
it's
same.
unexpected. It's like if you're talking to a girl and suddenly she sends you pictures of her boobs, you're like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like an added bonus. And so
That you get to punch the boob.
Yeah,
You-
definitely.
You get to like it's a fight. It's like an added bonus. Plus the hockey itself. It's a pretty brutal sport.
Hockey's
And
awesome.
I will argue that the less teeth the players have of any sport, the better the sport.
I wanted to ask you, so what is it about hockey players who have so much money but don't get teeth implants? Is it a sign of like, I'm actually a tough guy in hockey?
I don't know how much hockey player. I mean, I guess on the NHL they probably get paid pretty well.
Okay, so I would say hockey is the opposite of soccer in this way, where no matter what, no one actually knows when someone's about to score in hockey. It just comes out of nowhere. And I'm saying that makes it a bad sport.
Okay. Taylor,
Did
thinks
you
there's
almost call him Ron?
no, did I?
You went Taylor.
Yeah, I was.
You were exasperated, and you almost said my name.
Because I'm so used to being exasperated when I'm answering your rejoinders. Anyway, guys, madcastmedia.com. That's where you go to vote on these. But I've got the results of last week's debate. Pyro, last week we debated what's the scariest movie of all time. Do you have a pick? What's your scariest off the top of your head? Would you say it's Rideshare? Maybe.
Oh, God, yeah, definitely. Number
Actually,
one.
A lot of people were freaked out by Rideshare because it's very contemporary. It's about rideshare services and
The concept
and some
is
of the
scary.
creeps on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
It's very interesting. Well, guys, we had a 4-way discussion, and coming in dead last was the Blair Witch Project. fucking bullshit. I can't believe you
Whoa.
guys fucking idiot assholes. These fucking listeners. They just hate on me all the fucking time, Pyro. It's fucking bullshit. I know it's a fucking scarier movie than you won't fucking believe what got first place.
Just don't say Jeepers Creepers.
Second, okay.
Please don't let
Then
that be.
we got then in third place was Hereditary. Okay, so that was the choice.
Wow.
That was the choice.
And what came in second?
Okay, so second place came The Ring, and then first place was 60 votes. And Affair to Remember.
Yes.
Yes. Fuck out of here, Ron.
Yes.
Your fucking bullshit ass pick. And
Affair to Remember. What
with
is that?
Cary Grant, starring Cary Grant. It's an old movie. And what's it about, Ron? Because no one's seen that fucking movie.
Well, it's about missing out on the love of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, let me summarize An Affair to Remember for you. There it is.
Was that a reverse boner?
Yeah, it's like losing a boner. So this guy like tried to get with this chick, and then he found out she was in a wheelchair at the end. Is that the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And then he still got with her.
Garbage movie.
I mean, I didn't like, you know.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
That sounds
I'd rather
really
watch The Notebook.
Yeah. Oh, The Notebook's so bad.
Oh
I
my
hated
God.
The Notebook.
No, dude, seriously, like, it's way better than The Notebook.
Yeah. Well, not very.
I watched The
movie.
Notebook.
Hey, you know what'd be a
Plain.
cool debate? We should do next week, and we should do best romantic movie ever. That'd be like a funny, creative way we could like.
Yeah.
There we go. I like
Look
that.
at Taylor trying to sneak under the radar that he likes rom-coms.
Hey, man.
I do.
I like a good
think
rom-com.
Like
I'm in touch
Hey,
with my
Sleepless in
feelings.
Seattle was like the shit.
like
Okay, let's
most
do that.
Seattle's exactly an Affair to Remember.
Really?
Yes, the whole movie of Sleepless in Seattle
So
is
they copied
based
the
on
premise
Affair to
of
Remember.
another
Yeah.
movie.
That's the whole thing, that they meet at the top of the building. You just described a modern day Affair to Remember.
I haven't seen any of these movies. Maybe we'll do the romantic bullshit next week. I'll have to like see if I've ever seen a romantic
Yeah,
movie
maybe
in
if
my
you
life.
can take time from watching all that bowling.
Soul Plane is the best rom-com ever.
You know what? We may debate this next week. It'll be interesting to see. But we should get to some voicemail. Ron, we had a new listener nickname last week, Headlight Boy. And
yeah, Headlight Boy.
Headlight Boy called in with, I want to say a compliment. Sounds very backhanded though, but it's for you, Ron. Listen to this.
Here we go.
Maddox, I just got to call out Ron for his great tangent this episode. So it was great because it was a tangent of a tangent. Okay, you went on a tangent. You're like, oh wait, let's talk about our guest and what he does on the side really quick here. And then Ron goes, hey guys, I got a story, and then proceeds to tell the story about going to the hospital or something. It could have been summed up in like one sentence of like, oh yeah, I've had the same misunderstanding. What a great tangent, Ron. Just like completely unnecessary, out of nowhere, and a tangent off of a tangent. So bonus points for that.
Hey, congratulations, Ron.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that was meant sincerely, and I have no idea what story he was referencing.
I don't either, but I'm just thinking back and it sounds like something we would have said on the show.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Here's another voicemail. So this is a caller call out from a guy named Anthony. Listen to this.
Hey, Lord Maddox. I just started listening to your show, and I heard about Christian Atheist, who is named Christian, and he's an atheist, and I thought it was pretty funny because my name is actually Anthony Theist, so when you write it down with my initials, it's Atheist, and I am a Christian. So that's pretty funny. But I wanted to call out Headlight Boy because he generalized your whole audience saying that they've a bunch of losers who have never talked to women. I've been happily married for 10 years and love my wife. So in his face, I guess, that would be a caller call out, as you call it. Anyway, have consensual monogamous sex with whales. Thanks.
Yeah, we got a caller call out there. So this guy's talking about being in a consensual and a loving relationship, married to his wife that he loves for 10 years. I can't even wrap my head around that. Like, what's that like? Every time I want to hear more of these stories. If you guys are in the listener base, if you've been married for like 10, 12 years, 15 years, whatever, I want to hear from these people because it seems like a more and more rare thing in this day and age, especially with like hookup culture, right? Taylor, we got a very special caller calling in. It's your brother. I didn't know your brother was a listener to the show, but listen to this.
Hi, this is Jesse Nikolai, Taylor's older brother. I just wanted to say hi to my favorite journalist in moderation. All right, now I got to go pack my bag. I'm going on vacation.
Wow, Taylor, your brother calling into the show.
Great.
Jesse Nikolai.
All right.
And we got another voicemail for Taylor. This is another voicemail. This guy sounds like he's a fan of yours, Taylor. Listen to this.
Hey, Maddox, fuck you, man. You're giving Taylor such a hard time for pronouncing mayor like mayor. That's how you say it. Nobody has the fucking time to go, mayor. That's so dumb. Taylor, keep up the good work. I still love you, man. But Maddox, you can go fuck yourself. Go get fucked by a whale.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Real good. I see what you did there, shithead.
Thank you very much for the compliment.
Mayor.
Very much
Mayor.
Don't thank that guy.
Mayor.
It's weird, right?
You intentionally read that.
I never noticed that before.
Mayor or mayor?
Yeah, I never noticed.
Mayor. But it was a mayor who was a mayor.
Hello, I am the mayor.
It was a dog.
Oh, it was a dog.
Oh, okay.
Stupid. Same fucking difference. All right. Here's another voicemail. So we got a hater about that headlight boy we christened last week. Listen to this guy.
Maddox, please give me a nickname. I call all the time. You play my voicemails, and you gave those other guys nicknames. Oh, I want a nickname, too. Fucking pussy. Fuck whales.
Fuck whales to you, too.
Damn.
Damn, that was a hell of a call out.
Right.
We got Weird Matthew McConaughey calling in. I don't know if
Guy's
this
definitely
is
a bully.
that guy who could just
That guy definitely bullied kids.
Oh,
in high
absolutely.
school.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I guess the hint was when
Hey,
he called
bullies
him
make the world go round.
a fucking pussy. Here's another voicemail. This is from Weird Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if he's talking about a real movie here, but listen to this.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Hemorrhoids? Kind of like not so bad when you see it, but then throughout the day it just kind of fucking sits with you, and you're like, I don't really like that.
I guess hemorrhoids do sit with you. I still can't tell if that's not a movie. It should be one.
It should be, yeah.
And then last week Ron and I talked about a really scary movie called Commitment.
Oh, God.
Well, Weird Matthew McConaughey also called in about that. He's got a scarier movie. Listen to this, Ron. Let's see if you agree.
Hey man, you guys didn't really touch on the scariest movie of all. It's the sequel to Commitment called Marriage. Even the Part 2 series. It's a Part 2 series sometimes. A lot of showings going on right now. I don't know why, because if you think after the first one didn't go so well, why would you get into one, making one 5 years later? That just doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
Yeah, good point.
Great
Weird
point.
Matthew. I don't think anyone gets it.
There's also the Part 3 of that movie series, Children.
Oh.
Oh, man.
It's like super commitment.
Yeah.
Because if you abandon them, then you go to jail.
So we got another voicemail. Speaking of children, we got another voicemail from the Real Christian Atheist, because last week I talked about how I could beat up 12-year-olds, like probably 20 of them. Well, this guy extrapolated that and did the math, and listen to this.
Hey, Lord Maddox, it's me. So I was doing some Maddox math and extrapolating who and how many people you could beat up. And, I did the math, and you can beat up 20 12-year-olds or 24 10-year-olds or 241-year-olds. Fuck everyone.
Yeah, that's correct.
I think that actually makes sense.
It makes sense. I could totally beat up.
Well, the 1-year-olds, I just feel like after 240, you would just physically get to a point where you would be like exhausted.
Yeah.
You would be depleted.
Yeah, I'd be drained. And also like beating up, what do you say, like 24 6-year-olds or something like that?
Uh-huh.
That sounds about right. I could totally beat up 24 6-year-olds. And people say like, oh, if you get piled up, what do you think, Pyro? Could you beat up 20?
Oh, man.
I could beat up.
Dude, that's probably like the biggest like dream of my life is
That
to
would be
have a
man,
pylon that I could then explode out of.
Yeah.
The cool thing is you should
That'd
make
be
it like
awesome.
a
So
daycare
cool.
first so you get paid for it.
Yeah, and health insurance.
A bait and switch daycare where you bring all their kids and you just like...
Oh man, we could call it tough love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another voicemail. So speaking of tough love, last week we talked about, we had Sean Koss on, amazing illustrator. He does these mental health awareness illustrations, and we got a bunch of voicemails like this. I'm not going to play all of them, but here's a voicemail. A lot of people really appreciated the discussion about mental health because it's something that a lot of people are dealing with, depression, that sort of thing, anxiety, and these are things that a lot of people deal with, and they're not alone, and we got a lot of very touching voicemails. Here's one.
Hey, Maddox, I don't know if this is going to make it on the show or not, but I really appreciate the mental health discussion that you had. I mean, that's a really important message, and I'm glad that you're so honest about that and are just so supportive. I mean, there's fans out there that probably need your help, and I'm sure you're helping them out. Just keep up the good work, man.
Hey, thank you for the thoughtful, thoughtful voicemail. And we got so many. I even communicated with a few of the people because they said they were struggling with depression. They've been dealing with this stuff for a long time, and it really helps them just to hear that other people they listen to
deal with it too. Yeah,
yeah. People who are comedians, people who make you laugh. Everybody deals with this stuff from time to time, and you're not alone. So hang in there. And we may delve into this a little bit deeper. I think in a future episode if we could talk about that kind of stuff because I think it's an important topic, and I think it's one that a lot of people want to talk about, want to hear about. But then from that uplifting voicemail, we'll end on this one.
Blair Witch Project is not the first found footage film. Look up Cannibal Holocaust. It was made in the 70s. Fuck you.
Very sweet, very nice, voicemails, and then we get that one. Can you sound more pretentious when you're saying that? And by the way, was Cannibal Holocaust a found footage?
I have no idea. You're asking the guy who's hasn't seen the only scary movie I've ever seen is Affair to Remember.
Yeah, we'll throw this to the. It's not a horror movie. We'll throw this.
Says you.
Disqualified.
Genre bending.
You know what, Ron? Disqualified. I think Blair Witch was the scariest movie of all time. We'll throw that to the chat room. Was Cannibal Holocaust a found footage movie? I don't think it was. We'll check in the chat room in just a second.
Some guy in the chat room just said, Pyro, commit to a chip, bruh.
No.
That's it for voicemail. Let's get to some quick news headlines with our junior journalist, Taylor Nikolai. Taylor, what do you got for us?
Two men who live in RVs next to each other in rural Caldwell County got into an argument last week that authorities say escalated, with one of them turning iconic Texas wildlife into a potentially deadly weapon. It happened when one of them stumbled upon a rattlesnake, removed its rattle with his own teeth so its signature warning sound could not be heard, then turned it loose inside his unsuspecting neighbor's home.
Holy shit. That's like a cartoon villain's plan. Like he removed it with his teeth? Holy shit. What does that mean? Like you're biting it off?
Yeah.
So why don't you just drive away?
No, he wanted to.
If you don't like someone, there's a lot. Texas. Everything's big in
Texas.
Texas.
A lot of parks. Yeah.
You tell me there's not one shithole patch of ground that you can call home that's like a mile away from this guy?
You can find it because it stars at night, So he could easily just find another park place.
Can you imagine? Okay, so imagine trying to solve this crime in reverse. Okay, first thing you find in your house is a rattlesnake without a rattle. Right. So you're thinking, oh fuck, a rattlesnake got in here. Wait a second, it doesn't have a rattle. How would you then?
You know all your floors are fucking stained from rattlesnake blood.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sort of wound.
Right.
And a pissed off rattlesnake.
Ready to bite whoever. So then you have to piece together this crime that occurred by going backwards from a snake with no rattle to then finding that some guy bit it as a revenge plot.
Well, then a cop would have to go, sir, is there anyone who wants to cause you harm? And he just opens the door and just points at the RV 8 feet away. That'd be like,
insane.
Carl.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Carl doesn't like me.
And what's the crime, Taylor? What was the crime? They used a state wildlife for harm?
So, I mean, it was attempted murder. I think they just described it by using.
Got to be a felony, right?
I wonder because that's interesting. Because if you find a rabid raccoon and you put it in someone's house or apartment or something, would that be an attempt at murder?
Or you just put the raccoon in your backpack and then you walk off to him and you're like, hey, bitch, and then you open the bag.
He was charged with deadly conduct and criminal trespass.
Deadly conduct. What
Although
is deadly
now
conduct?
he's definitely not going to be fucked with in prison when word gets out that he bites off
if
a rattlesnake tail.
Doesn't have a rattle. Is it still a rattlesnake?
No, it's just a snake.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does the charge change?
Yeah.
A South African woman was mistakenly brought to the morgue and stored in a fridge after she was declared dead following a car accident. The unnamed woman was discovered breathing by a morgue worker who was reportedly writing a report and checking on the body, according to Times Live, a South African news site. The distress alert paramedics who brought her in said that she had shown no form of life. She is currently being treated at a hospital.
So every now and then you'll hear one of these stories, and they are horrifying.
That terrifies me.
This is the third time in recent years that an assumed deceased person was later found to be alive in South Africa.
So that's kind of, I don't know which is worse. I mean, obviously, if you woke up in a morgue room and you were still alive, that would be freaky as hell.
No, you wake up in not a room. You wake up in a fucking box. It's like a file cabinet for bodies.
Yeah. So that's scary. And then because you're also going to see like fingers, she probably tried to scratch the ceiling of whatever she was in. That would be horrifying. Wow. And then, oh man, what if you woke up and you saw other fingernail scratches on the roof? Holy shit.
Well, it's not like there would be any light, though. It's not like she still has her phone on her.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
You're just a naked body. Then all of a sudden they pull you out, and you're like, I mean, I think then your opportunity to have some real fun.
Yeah.
If you could be like, boo. And I mean,
right. Yeah.
So then that gets me to the next point, which is if you're the morgue worker and you pull a body out and it suddenly starts moving and kicking, holy shit, man, you're gonna fucking shit your pants, and that's it. You're probably done. You're gonna have trauma from that for the rest of your life. You don't expect any of those bodies to come to life. Holy shit.
What I want to do is like you talk to the paramedic the next day, where you go up to him and be like, "Hey, man, you had one job.
Yeah,
one job.
Right.
Is this person dead? How do you fuck that up?"
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be at least some sort of...
check a pulse or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Damn.
A professional golfer says he was forced to withdraw from an open qualifier this week after an airline misplaced his golf clubs. Graham McDowell wrote in a series of tweets Monday that he flew from Paris to Manchester, England on an Air France flight only to discover that his golf bag had been...
Taylor... I don't care where the fucking Minnesota you're from. It's just wrong.
Left behind. So this pissed me off because, like, I feel like that's an excuse. Like, does that mean, like, you're really not good enough to play with other clubs?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot my baseball my baseball bat got misplaced. My lucky baseball. Fuck off. Just use whatever clubs they have there. You're a professional golfer and you're going to a golf course. You don't think they have other fucking golf clubs you can use, shithead?
Yeah, are you really a professional when you can't adapt
to
the slightest difference of situation?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know golf clubs are important, but it's kind of weird.
Tornadoes have been known to toss around everything from cars and trucks to cows and people, but usually the objects don't vanish. However, last Thursday, a tornado near the Montana/South Dakota border apparently lofted and destroyed some farm machinery, including a 5-ton tractor that has yet to be found, according to the National Weather Service.
Okay. Yet to be found and disappeared are two different things, all right? Disappeared means it's fucking Bermuda Triangle shit,
right,
and it's just fucking gone. But yet to be found means...
nobody's looked for it yet.
Yeah, nobody's looked... Because it's not a high priority. No one really gives that much of a shit, because if they find a 5-ton...
Is my tractor alive?
Yeah. They're not sending out fucking helicopters.
Yeah,
and
yet to be found means, like, nobody owns a goddamn drone. Like, just fucking buy a drone, go search for it. You'll find it.
No one's looking.
It's within like 5 to 10 miles.
Who gives a shit? And also, if you find your 5-ton piece of equipment that was tossed in a tornado, it's not going to be in good shape. So that's probably why they're not looking for it. You know what? Taylor, disqualify that story.
Bananas could be wiped off the map if more isn't done to conserve them, scientists
Hear this
have warned.
every fucking year.
Scientists are racing to develop new banana varieties strong enough to survive Panama disease, which is a major threat to banana crops around the world.
That's bullshit.
We need you to work faster.
I'm angry at this fucking story. First of all, I want to hear from these scientists. Look, we have a really good track record, Pyro, on the show. When I put a call out for these scientists to call in, they listen to the show and they do call in. So next week, I want to hear from these fuckface scientists who are racing to make a new strain of banana that can survive.
I'm a banana scientist.
Yeah. Oh, we're racing. It's like a crack team of scientists. Yeah, just like sitting there looking at test tubes and doing fucking DNA samples and shit and like syringes with the fucking bananas and a bunch of test monkeys. Like, here, try this. Is this good enough?
Do you feel like there's ever like a... Do you ever feel
like a good Caesar?
Yeah.
Do they ever have like a motivational speech where he's walking around, but he's also eating a banana?
Yeah.
Like, if we don't do the work we do, and he gets to the end of it and he has the peel, he's like, "This could be the last banana that people ever eat."
Yeah, he takes a pratfall on it too. It's like, you guys like this joke?
Society's gonna slip and fall next.
Now that's a scary movie.
Yeah,
The Last Banana.
Oh man, look, if we lost bananas, give it or take it. We have what, plantains? We have fucking the other ones.
The other ones?
The other ones, yes. I just had another one today.
Because bananas are clones, the disease is able to spread very quickly from one to another. It is currently wreaking havoc. I said that weird.
Havoc?
With crops in Asia, but could wipe out the world's supply if it spreads to America.
Yeah. Ooh, big deal. Ooh. The world supply of bananas. We grow most of our bananas in like South America, don't we? That's where most bananas come from.
Oh.
Yeah, who gives a shit? This is a dumb fucking story. We got Tito in the chat room.
Big Banana at it again.
Yeah, big banana. Tito in the chat room says bananas are dumb as shit. Amen to that. We got T-Boner in the chat room. Guys, thank you for tuning in to the chat room, all the super chats. I really appreciate that. But Taylor, you got anything else for us?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll end on that fucking banana story.
Yeah, ain't no bananas. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to go home and think about bananas.
Gives a shit.
Yeah.
Bananas.
I'm going to go to the store right now and buy 20 and throw them off the freeway.
Bananas are ubiquitous, too. And they go bad so easily and so fast.
You know what I hate? I hate when I put a banana in my bag and it like immediately goes bad. Like those bag bananas?
Yeah.
Bananas are one of those fruits that, like, once you're done with eating it, like, I feel responsible. Like, an apple core, I feel like I could throw that in a ditch and it's like, oh, it's going to be fine. But, like, I feel like a a banana peel, it's like, oh, I should probably throw this away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to cause like a hilarious broken leg.
I feel totally fine littering banana peels as long as it's not on a walkway. Because that shit's going to get decomposed in under, 20 minutes.
If your fruit is something that you use to teach sexual safety... Like, if you put condoms on your fruit, is it that good of a fruit?
Banana Republic.
Nobody puts a condom on a carrot.
Yeah, they don't do carrots because they're too pointy.
And then, but
you could use a zucchini, maybe an eggplant, like a skinny eggplant. Not that
I have to use like kind of a girthy eggplant.
You use a regular eggplant.
Use like a fleshlight.
A fleshlight.
All right, we're done.
Taylor, thank you for those headlines. Pyro, thank you so much for joining us this week. Where can people find you?
You can find me Pyro2 Sick, Pyro number 2 SICK on all social media, or you can Google me.
Instagram, YouTube, you're on everything, right?
I'm on everything.
Yeah.
Just Google.
And by the way, guys, we should mention too. You guys can follow Ron and Taylor too. Ron at Hey Ron on Instagram, and what is it on Twitter? Is it the same
Ron
thing?
Babcock.
Ron Babcock on Twitter at Ron Babcock.
Go listen to my album. It's on Spotify for free, and it's called This Guy.
Oh yeah, it is.
What do we search on
fantastic.
Spotify?
Just search Ron Babcock or This Guy, but it's on. You can buy it on iTunes, but man, for you guys. Fuck it. It's free.
It's a fantastic album. And I got to say, when Ron first sent it to me, he was like, hey, man, can I get some opinions, get some notes, whatever? I listened to the whole thing.
All he did was send me back the clip of Douchebag of the Week. I was like, come on, man.
Very tough but fair critic.
This guy, I have to check that out.
Big red letter F. No, but it was really. I'm not saying this because he's in the room, and I'm not blowing sunshine up his ass. But it was so polished. It sounds like a seasoned comedian with like 30 years under his belt.
It's an hour of polished tangents.
It's
wow, that's awesome.
Really good.
Make it tangents of tangents.
Really, really good stuff. Tangent of tangents. It never comes back around.
And I'd love for you guys to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's Taylor Nikolai, TaylorNikolai.
Thank you so much, Pyro.
Go again.
Nikolai.
No, fuck off, Taylor.
Nikolai.
Thank you to Pyro for joining us. Thank you to the first tangent officer. Thank you to Taylor, but most of all, you're welcome.
Taylor, seriously, magazine? Come on, man. Like, you gotta take a course in, like... shit, I'm gonna call back.
Hey there. Don't forget to subscribe to Madcast shows on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. Okay, bye. Madcast Media Network.